Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friday edition of the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and we made it tonight. By God, we couldn't be kept away for too long. No matter what, I am just bound and determined to be here with all of you. Doing better. Thank you for all of the understanding and support while I was dealing with yet another virus or bug or whatever the hell it was. I'm catching all of them this year. I don't know. This is a whole different year for me. I've never, I usually get sick like once a year and then it's done. But man, I've got everything. I don't want to start laughing because I'll probably start coughing if that's the case. And that, believe me, is a gurgly mess, but it's getting better. I'm getting better and I feel better already just being here with all of you. So I'm glad to see you guys are jumping into the chats and into the channels as we are broadcasting on TFR Live as well as YouTube. We hopefully are covering a lot of ground here. So I'm not alone, though. Unfortunately, Don couldn't be here tonight, but by the grace of God and all that is good, I was able to get a hold of Mr. Sheldon Thomas and get him to join me tonight, so that I wouldn't have to do this all alone, because I may need him to take over. We'll see. Oh, just so you know, Sheldon, you might have to take over.
Okay. All right. Good to know. We got some new developments here.
Yeah, well, you got to learn to stretch your wings. Sometimes you got to kick you out of the nest.
Well, the good thing is if Don can't make it, Sheldon can.
Ooh, Sheldon. I never thought about that, but you're right. There's Don and then there's Sheldon. I'm surrounded by Dons. That's a good thing, though. I love you both. But anyway, he can't be here tonight, but thank you for coming in, Sheldon, on short notice and doing this with me. because it's nice to have some company.
Oh, what else am I gonna do? Relax? Nah.
Yeah. Watch a movie, kick back, enjoy myself. No. You can be here with me, and we'll
That's
go through
right.
the portal
That's
together. And with all of you as well. Thank you for being here. It's Friday night, and as always, we got a bunch of stuff to get through. We're going to do a lot of UFO stuff tonight, as well as the weird and supernatural, and maybe a little bit of the creatures, the cryptids as well. So we'll see what we get to as the night grows on, and we start making progress here. But great to see all you guys. Thank you for coming in. So before I go any further, though, I want to take a special moment to thank the Paranormal Portal sponsor, and of course, I'm speaking of Cryptid Coin, ladies and gentlemen. And Cryptid Coin is a newer cryptocurrency that has its heart at the center of cryptid research around the world. And what they're doing is they're taking a percentage of the coinage and putting it in trust. And the proceeds of the activity of the coin will help to generate funds to be awarded as grants to cryptid research teams around the world. And we're all really excited about that because, quite honestly, it's something I've said every time I promote it, but it couldn't be any truer as the fact that cryptid research currently is not being handled by the big scientists or the big biologists and stuff. It's being handled by people like you and me who are interested in getting out there and trying to substantiate these species for the rest of the world. And as such, it's being funded by their own ability to fund these expeditions with their time, sweat, and effort. And so this is a great leap forward, I think, for cryptid research around the world, in that it offers another avenue of funding to generate resources for these teams to either get a hold of more equipment or to get a hold of the ability to get different places that they may not have been able to get to without it. And so they're doing a grant process to teams around the world to qualify for research grants. So if you want any more information on either investing in the cryptid coin and thereby investing in the cryptid research community, or in seeing if your team could qualify for a research grant, head over to cryptidcoin.io. Again, cryptidcoin.io. And special thanks to them for once again for funding and sponsoring the Paranormal Portal. So very cool. Appreciate that a bunch. And Sheldon.
And you know what else is really exciting?
What's that?
How close we are to 10K subscribers on YouTube. 9.97K. If you guys like what you're seeing, you like what we're doing, have any interest at all even, please click the subscribe button, give us a like, give us a follow, ring that bell so that you can follow us better.
Excellent. Yeah, we're getting really close, and ladies and gentlemen, once we hit that 10K mark, as soon as we can after that, we're going to have a special presentation of the Paranormal Portal, and we're going to do all kinds of different activities that I'm trying to arrange and line up for all of you and for us, and to celebrate that occasion. Now, 10,000 subscribers on YouTube is not a big number, but it is for us because we've done it. We've done it in like a marine belly crawl the whole way. It's we've earned every subscription, I think, and so we're really excited about hitting that 10K mark because it's a big mark for us. So thank you all. For those of you who have been that are subscribers, or those of you who have helped other people become subscribers, it really means the world. This has really been an organic movement of sorts because it's been basically by word of mouth. I really haven't spent anything ever with advertising in mind. It's just been word of mouth. So thank you for all of you that are doing that and have done that and will do that. It means the world to us. So I think it's a good place to start to do some news. What do you think, Sheldon?
Oh, sounds like a perfect place to start.
All right, let's do some of the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk as we dive into tonight's news items that I have propagated for you. I don't know if that's the right word or not. It's the only one that came to my head as I was thinking. So that's one where you're getting propagated news. I don't know. There must be a better word than that, but that's what I'm using. Here's the first news item tonight. It's from a site called unexplained-mysteries.com. And this one comes with an ad too. Great. It's couple claims ghost left messages on their computer. Sheldon, did you believe that? Ghosts are typing messages now.
I mean, I could see it.
Sure.
I could see it.
I guess it stands to reason. It's possible. Let's see what it says. Ken Webster and Debbie Oakes claim to have received numerous messages on their 80s BBC Micro. 80s BBC Micro? Oof. The mystery, which has endured for more than 30 years, began after the couple moved into an old cottage on the North Wales border back in the 80s. While outside in their garden one evening, they noticed a peculiar green glow through the window. After venturing back inside, they found that someone had written a message on their computer. And it says, "True are the nightmares of a person that fears. Safe are the bodies of the silent world. Turn, pretty flower, turn towards the sun, for you shall grow and sow. But the flower reaches too high and withers in the burning light." My God, it's time to reformat that drive.
Yeah.
It needs an exorcism or a programmer. Over time, They received several other messages from what they believe to be the ghost of an individual from the 16th century who identified himself as Lucas Wayneman. "What strange words you speak," it wrote in one message aimed at Ken. "You are a worthy man who has a fanciful woman, and you live in my house with lights which the devil makes. It was a great crime to have stolen my house. L.W." Even stranger still, Ken also claimed that the couple had been receiving messages from another individual, this time someone claiming to be from the year 2109, and it has since been suggested that the house may exist on some sort of cross-section in time, enabling messages from different time periods to appear on the computer. To date, however, no definitive explanation for these phenomena has ever been found. Well, I don't know. If I started getting messages like that on my old 80s computer, I think I would be really nervous about that.
Well, yeah, as long as there's like no way for it to have an internet I'm sure if it's an 80s computer, well, maybe. If there's no way for it to have an internet connection, I think very intriguing.
I don't think they would have been probably it's a what is it? Mini computer, microcomputer. So it's a microcomputer. It could have been built into a network of its own peers and stuff, but probably not on the interwebs, or even the DARPA net, which was the predecessor to the internet, which was by DARPA, ARPANET or DARPANET or whatever. That's what became the internet eventually, but it was funded by the to protect against nuclear strikes, to be able to keep information going. So that's what the predecessor to the internet was it was developed as a national defense mechanism to keep communication going. But I don't think by the early 80s that it was really, I don't think it was anywhere but in the universities at that point. So it shouldn't have been getting messages, I don't think.
Yeah,
anyway, really,
it's so curious.
That is very curious. Now, I don't know. I mean, obviously, the first most obvious things that you think is it's a hoax, and it could very well be. And it could also be legit, I guess. But whatever you think, ladies and gentlemen, do you think ghosts could type messages to people on their computers? I personally have never gotten any, but I'm
yet.
Yeah. It's like every once in a while I'll have some kind of relevant information to add of a personal experience, but this is one I don't ever remember getting. So that's very weird.
That does bring up a question though, as far as like spiritual encounters, ability to manipulate any kind of computer technology, like in Ghost Adventures and whatnot. They'll I don't know, be at a psychiatric ward or whatever, and they'll have things like have the power sucked out of them, like full batteries all of a sudden gone empty in like an instant, that type of thing.
Sure.
But as far as manipulation,
sure,
that is brings up an interesting question.
Well, one of the common common symptoms of a haunting is things messing with your electricity and your lights, your radios, your TVs and stuff.
Yeah.
So for some reason, electronic devices seem really easy for them to manipulate. And I guess it stands to reason because these are energetic beings. They're not in a meat suit. They exist in an energetic state. So maybe influencing other energetic things around you is very easy at that point. I can only assume. I have no idea, but that's just an assumption I'm making. But very interesting. Maybe computers could be used by spirits. I guess it wouldn't surprise me a whole bunch. But I don't know. A very literary one at that, though. It's very poetic.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Natalie UK says, apparently the military gets new technology 30 years before the general public gets it or knows about its existence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
That's something you told me about years ago, I think.
Yeah, I used to teach computers and networking and stuff, and that's what I had learned when I was learning is that, whatever the military has or the government has, the capabilities are 30 years past or ahead of what you have at home. So, I mean, think of the computers we're using now and how quick they are, and what is the capabilities of the government at that point? Well, pretty darn impressive, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So the next one up on our newscast is from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this one is, the UK government wants to build a solar power station in space. That's a good idea. I guess you wouldn't have to worry about the weather.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
Now, I wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to fly it like a kite? Like you're going to have this huge cable going out into space? Or how does that exactly work? I don't know. The multi-billion-pound project would work by generating energy in space, then transferring it back to Earth. The UK government is reportedly considering a $16 billion per pound proposal to build a solar power station in space. Yeah, you read that right. Space-based solar power is one of the technologies to feature in the government's net zero innovation portfolio, and it's been identified as a potential solution alongside others to enable the UK to achieve net zero by 2050. But how would a solar power station in space work? What are the advantages and drawbacks of this technology? Space-based solar power involves collecting solar energy in space and transferring it to Earth. While the idea itself is not a new, recent technology advances have made this prospect more achievable. The space-based solar power system involves a solar power satellite, an enormous spacecraft equipped with solar panels, and these panels generate electricity, which is then wirelessly transmitted to Earth through high-frequency radio waves. Sounds like a Tesla deal to me. Nikola Tesla. A ground antenna called a rectenna. Rectenna. Oh, I'm not even going to touch that. Nope. It is used to convert the radio waves into electricity, which is then delivered to the power grid. A space-based solar power station in orbit is illuminated by the sun 24 hours a day and could therefore generate electricity continuously. This represents an advantage over terrestrial solar power systems on Earth, which can produce electricity only during the day and depend on the weather. With global energy demand projected to increase by nearly 50% by 2050, space-based solar power could be the key in helping meet the growing demand of the world's energy sector and taking the global temperature rise. Well, that's about all I'm going to read about this because it's a long article, but I mean, honest to God, that's what Tesla was trying to do back in the early 1900s. He was trying to do just this, was to create electricity and then beam it wirelessly to receivers around this station. And so this is people have been trying to crack this, what he was doing, because all of his papers were, of course, confiscated upon his death. And it looks like they're still using his work because that's exactly what he did. And he had, there's those that believe that the explosion in Tunguska in the Russia, up in the Siberia, could in fact have been his work that had gone sideways. And it was basically like a nuclear-powered weapon went off in the forest over there in the Siberia and blew down the forest, just like wiped out a whole miles of forest. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying that's kind of a legendary tale of what might be Tesla's work. But that sounds exactly what Nikola Tesla was trying to do back then. And
it's interesting to think about if these geniuses weren't limited by the technology of their time, type of thing, what they could have achieved.
well, he did though. I mean, he did build these things. He had built a big tower in Colorado to beam electricity out from to the surrounding areas. And then upon his death, or at some point, it was burned down, like it was sabotaged or something. I don't know what the story is, but definitely he was way, way, way ahead of his time. But
Well, I'm saying like even now with our technology in his mind, type of thing.
yeah,
Like, yeah, he could accomplish that then, but what about now that we have so much more information?
well, you'd think there would be more. You'd think we would have already seen his things come to fruition, but now with the big push, now if you notice, there's a huge, huge global push to go to alternative energy measures, and take that to mean what you will. And I'm not speaking about politics, but certainly gas prices are pushing the desired outcome of let's get away from fossil fuels is what it seems to be doing. So it's kind of interesting that now they developed this system utilizing almost exactly what Tesla was talking about, except it didn't have to do with space. He had other manners of which to generate natural electricity, allegedly. So I'm not extraordinarily familiar with his work, but I do recall that, and that's really amazing. So we'll get to the next article here, and this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Is the fabled Planet 9 still out there? Yes, it's called Pluto.
Oh,
Even though they don't think it's the ninth planet, I think it is. I think if you're a planet once, you're always a planet. Doesn't matter if somebody voted you out. But
I think they voted it back in.
Oh, did they? Okay, well, I don't
think
know.
they did.
Let's see what it says. It says the potential existence of an undiscovered planet in our own solar system has intrigued astronomers for years. Nobody knows exactly where it is or how big it is or if it ever exists at all. But when researchers at the California Institute of Technology revealed in 2016 that the existence of a ninth planet in our solar system was a very real possibility, the hunt for this enigmatic new world began in earnest. Believed to be up to 10 times the mass of the Earth and with an orbital period of up to 20,000 years. Oof, man, you better get real old to see the first year. Planet 9, if it exists, will be situated somewhere beyond the orbit of Neptune. Finding it, however, is like looking for a tiny fraction of a needle in a very big haystack. Most recently, researchers conducted a study involving 6 years of telescopic data in an attempt to find evidence that this enigmatic world really is out there. Captured using the Atacama Cosmology Telescope in Chile, the observations covered 87% of the night sky visible from the southern hemisphere. Despite identifying 3,000 potential candidate light sources within a relevant distance, however, the researchers weren't able to conclusively confirm that any of them were planets. While the findings may be a blow to those hoping to hear news of Planet 9's discovery, the study does at least achieve something. It narrows down the parts of the sky that still need to be rechecked, or still need to be checked, rather. If Planet 9 really is out there, it is possible that it will be found sometime in the near future. Pluto. I'm just saying Pluto. I vote Pluto. We'll call this 10.
Yeah, it's Planet 10, exactly.
This is 10, not 9. 9, we already got 9.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's me. I'm just I'm a purist that way. I'm a Pluto purist. It was always a planet when I was growing up, man. It's still a planet.
It's true.
Still a planet, damn it.
It's hard to let go.
I can't let go. Nope. I'm hanging on to Pluto. All right, let's get the next one up. And this one is also from unexplained-mysteries.com, a great site, ladies and gentlemen. Please check it out. They do a fantastic job over there. More ads. Great. Okay, and this is... I don't know why I pulled this one up. I guess it must have looked interesting at the time. It says scientists conduct new scans of the Great Pyramid. Uh-huh. So
Oh.
new scans will reportedly be up to 100 times the sensitivity of similar scans conducted previously. Rising 146 meters into the sky, the last surviving wonder of the ancient world, which has stood in the Egyptian desert for 3,800 years, remains, I think it's been there longer, remains just as steeped in mystery today as when the ancient travelers first gazed upon it up at its time-worn stonework and wondered what secrets might lie inside. In more recent years, rumors have circulated suggesting there could be a large hidden chamber situated within the pyramid, a room that has remained unopened since ancient times. In 2017, scans of the structure by an international team of researchers from Nagoya University and the High Energy Accelerator Research Organization seemed to confirm that this was the case. However, a great deal of skepticism has always surrounded these findings. Now, with the renewed bid to solve the mystery once and for all, scientists with the Exploring the Great Pyramid (EGP) mission are planning to use muons to scan the structure in a more detail than ever before. The endeavor follows the previous muon-based study by the Scan Pyramid Project, which found indications of large voids within the Great Pyramid. However, this time scientists will be using a next-generation muon scanning system capable of delivering upwards of 100 times the sensitivity, and which will, for the first time, produce a true topographic or tomographic image of such a large structure. The pyramids of the Giza Plateau have fascinated visitors since ancient times, and they are the last of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing. The research team wrote, "The Exploring the Great Pyramid mission presents the potential to obtain entirely new results of the internal structure of the Great Pyramid by having the precision to measure differences in density. It will be very interesting to see what, if anything, the team discovers." There you go. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's more. I guess it stands to reason, but I will tell you.
I mean, you in the last few months, you did read an article that did they find like a secret passage type of thing?
Maybe
to one of the pyramids.
I don't know. Maybe I did. It's hard to remember what I've read. I because honestly, I do pay attention to what I'm reading to a point, but I'm more paying attention to how I'm reading it and if I'm reading it well. So I mean, I'm doing it on many levels. So I usually recall something, but I don't know. We've covered so many stories about the pyramids since the show started that it's probable. I'm sure if you remember it, that means it must be the case. But I don't know. It is totally possible. I think those pyramids have been there a lot longer than this, but that's just what they're going with. 3,800 years, I guess. That's the number they want to tack onto it. But I think it's much older than that. Just saying. Could be. All right, so I guess that's a good place to stop the news. So let's get back to the regularly scheduled program. Wow, that was a good cough. Good. I produced.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, me too. I don't like this much at all. But it's going okay. Going better than I thought. But there's the bell, folks. We're going to go to our first break. And so we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Don't go away for more of the Paranormal Portal. Wow, we're back. The first segment went so quick. Sheldon, what the hell?
It always does. What can we say? It's an illusion.
Time is an illusion. But I'll tell you what, I have to admit, all this talking, I think, is helping me clean out maybe a little quicker. So it's been rather therapeutic so far. That's good. I wasn't sure I was going to go tonight because I'm still not better, but I'm better than I was. So in that case, talking has worked out well. I'm pleased. I'm pleased. So I guess we got a lot more of the paranormal to get to. Are you ready for that, Sheldon?
Always.
Okay, good, because that's just what's on the menu. Let me see, what is this?
Yum.
Oh, this one was kind of interesting, and I thought, well, I mean, there's a video with it as well, but it's kind of interesting because it has to do with the Ukraine, but it's coming from the International Business Times, and this is one that I wanted to read real quick. Maybe I'll wait on this one. I'll get to this one a little bit later, but it's kind of interesting, but it has to do with the Ukraine and UFOs. So
Okay.
I just thought that was very interesting. But what is this one? Okay. Is this one? I already read this one. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to this one. All right. So we're going to go to an article we've been burning through a little bit for a while now. And this is from a site called moneymade.com. People share their mysterious experiences that they just can't explain. And we're on number 21, and I want to hit a few of these because some of these are really good. They're just little, what they do in this article is they kind of farm Reddit. They maybe they put a question out or whatever, but some of the responses are really cool. And let's see, okay, that one's more of a weird one. This one is number 22, The Haunted House. Okay, one time when I was in university, I went out drinking on Halloween and blacked out. Jeez, that's not good.
Nice.
I've had that experience before, and it wasn't paranormal, but it was definitely paranormal. I woke up with all of my clothes soaking wet and a black eye. It hadn't rained the previous night, and to this day, I still have no idea how I got soaked or what happened to my eye. I asked my housemates and everyone I'd been out with if they had put me in a shower or poured water on me, but no one had. The black eye very well may have been the result of a fall. I wouldn't put it past me, but we'll never know. So why was that called the haunted house? What the hell?
That is easily explainable.
The guy totally
that's not even close to paranormal.
That was by AKJK. Okay. All right.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah. JK. Just kidding. This one is number 23, Mighty Mouse. It says, I've had pet rats for a decade now, and there have definitely been some strange things that have happened with them. About 2 years ago, I got a pair of boys from a breeder. I got them all set up in their cage, and life was good. The cage I have for them is bars with considerably small spacing between them. About half an inch, definitely too small for even the tiniest, most flexible rats to squeeze through. So imagine my surprise when I walk into my room, see the cage doors closed with the bars all intact and no other holes in the cage, and spot a smug little jerk staring down at me from the top of the cage that is taller than I am, perched on the corner like Batman. There's not a chance in the world that this rat was able to open one of the doors and close it by himself. I know for a fact that I did not accidentally leave him out during playtime, and the bars are way too small for him to squeeze through. To this day, I have no idea how he got out of the cage, and he never did it again, nor have I ever had another rat do it. I'm half convinced that he up and teleported out of the cage, so for quite a while afterward, you bet your buns I called him Houdini. I called him Houdini rat. Well, that is interesting. I don't think the rat probably teleported, but maybe someone took him out, like some spiritual presence. I don't know. I mean, rats don't generally teleport, so that's unusual.
I mean,
that was
I was gonna say that. I mean, aren't rats supposed to be like, pretty smart, like relatively?
Oh, sure, but. You know what I mean? They're still not going to pick a lock or something, or whatever. And they do have a limit to their strength, but That was by Morbles 13, Morbles 13. It's actually a hamster, isn't it? They used a picture of a hamster.
Interesting.
Yeah. Number 24, Oh Father, Where Art Thou? The biggest mystery in my life is whether my dad is really my dad. Okay, well, let's skip that one.
Okay.
That's a little too personal.
Okay.
We don't have time for
I guess
therapy.
you could say that's paranormal.
Yeah, we don't have therapy hour here, so we're going to skip that one. This is number 25, A Screw Loose. I once dropped a screwdriver in my bedroom, heard it hit the floor, and then watched as it just disappeared. I never saw it again. It wasn't even standing. I wasn't even standing up. I was kneeling. So it only fell a few inches, and it wasn't a huge screwdriver, but there aren't any gaps that I could find in my bedroom floor where a screwdriver, even half its size, could fit into. That sounds like a D-port, right? Weasel News.
Yeah.
Yeah. The A-ports, of course, are when things show up that you have no idea where they came from. D-ports are when they're missing. And sometimes it's the weirdest thing, but it's almost like there's like a certain kind of spirit that is absolutely mischievous, but also like a collector of things. And it's just usually junky things like a stupid screwdriver, but on the other hand, how many times do we misplace stuff? Well, all the time, everybody does. But I mean, if you're just kneeling on the floor and drop a screwdriver, wouldn't think it would be hard to find it.
Yeah, there's no way you're like gonna lose. Like if you're kneeling down, like he said, he's not standing up so he can bounce everywhere and all that. He's kneeling. It's not falling very far.
Yeah, you just said a couple inches. So
yeah,
that's weird. That was by Weasel News, and that's very interesting. I think those either it's an intentional, I'm taking that, or is that a demonstration of a multiverse or little portals or something of that nature, things teleporting. I don't know, because
that's a good point too. The whole portal thing.
Right.
You never know.
Well, I just really believe that our reality is in a certain phase. Like what we understand of reality is just matter at a certain phase. But what happens if there are natural fluctuations in that phase? And just it may be for any stupid rhyme or reason or any cosmic rhyme or reason. But maybe there's, multiverse kind of theory where there's other realities that are just out of phase, but maybe they overlap every once in a while, and just weird, stupid things like a screwdriver could be one thing that could just happen to rephase in the wrong place. Like it hit a point of flux and just boom, it was just in a different place. I don't know.
I mean, like you've said before, that could even explain like the missing 411, and maybe they're all correlated.
Yeah, exactly. Very strange. I think those stories are incredibly interesting, and most people would just be like, "Hey, you lost a screwdriver, big deal. Get over it. Go get a new screwdriver. What the hell?" But if something disappears, and it's what I've always said about the paranormal, like I want to hear everybody's experiences. I want to hear whatever you've seen, even if it's something stupid like, I was reaching for a pen and it just rolled over. Well, that to me is incredible. That still is demonstrating something happened that's not supposed to happen. That if you're not touching it and something rolls over, that's amazing. And that's why I don't think there's any small experiences. I really don't. And sometimes, I don't know, I learn just as much listening to those small, silly things as I do the big, robust, lifelong experiences. It's just, they're just neat because they're showing that something's going on that's not normal, and I love that.
I agree. Also, do we have a caller at the moment?
Oh, it just came up. I just looked a second ago, but we do now. Let's get to the call. Find out just what's going on here. Let me get to the unmute right now. Okay. And this is caller from the United Kingdom. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, hi. My name's Hakeem. I'm from the UK. Yeah.
Oh, welcome to the show. Thanks for calling in. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm 31 years old.
31? Okay. Nice to meet you. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind tonight?
First of all, I just want to say I've been watching your channel. I think I've seen 2 episodes of your series on YouTube. I don't even know both your names. I saw your channel a week ago, and I thought I need to tell my story. I've got many things that's happened to me in my life.
Oh, please.
I'll start with
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I'll start with on Halloween and the reason why I don't celebrate Halloween anymore.
Okay.
All right then. This was 2004, and I was 14. Okay, so this started. In order for you to understand the story, basically, I have to include my cousin just for a quick sec. So the day before Halloween, my cousin came over. Now he doesn't matter to the story, but you just understand why. Wait a minute. Now on Halloween day, I went out, and in 2004, it was I think it was that Scream. You remember the Scream mask? It was when you squeeze the blood heart and the blood goes down the face. Scream.
Oh,
Scream
sure,
mask.
the Scream mask.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had that mask where you squeeze the heart and the blood will go down, will trickle down through the face. And I had the gloves and everything, and I was all blacked out.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got home around about 11 o'clock, and my favorite color is red, so my whole room is red basically.
Okay.
And I had a red wardrobe, and on the corner edge of my wardrobe, on the left hand corner at the top edge of the wardrobe, there was a witch's mask in it. Now, when I saw the witch's mask, I automatically assumed or thought it was my cousin that forgot his mask and left his mask the day before, yesterday, pretty much. And that's the only excuse, because obviously I was the only child in the house, so it only makes sense that it was my cousin that left the mask. So I thought. So anyways, I started watching. Back then we didn't have cable TV. Cable didn't come out until maybe I think 6 years, maybe 4 years later, like proper cable. So we had DVA, which is kind of like cable basically. They gave you like 30 channels pretty much.
Okay.
And I was watching BBC Three, and I got curious, innit? So I'm flicking through the channels, but then I started looking at the mask and I was curious. I thought, well, let me just check it out, innit? So I got up and I picked up the mask. And when I picked it up, it's like it didn't feel like plasticky or like rubbery or anything. It felt like, the best way to explain it, it felt rough. It felt like rough skin, pretty much, innit? And I was touching it, I was trying to stretch it, and I couldn't stretch it. Now I'm gonna give you a picture of how it looks, by the way the mask looks. So I was standing up while I was holding the mask. Now it's got black and grey hair, like it's got a black and black pepper grey stranded grey hair, but most of the hair is black. It's got little strands of grey every now and then. But it's enough for you to see pretty much, innit? And it's a pale face with like molds, and it literally looked like a witch's mask with a long nose, and how a witch would basically look, how they present a witch into the TV world, basically the media. And it had an eye patch over its arm. Which eye was it? It was this right eye base on its right eye had an eye patch pretty much, innit? Okay. And obviously, I got curious. So I was just feeling it, and I was thinking, it just didn't feel like plastic, like how a fake mask is supposed to feel. So as I'm touching it now, I put my left index finger into at the back of the eye patch, and I'm still, just doing my little thing as a child. And it's only I realized, wait a minute, I put my finger through it. Why didn't my finger come through the other end of the eye patch? Because my finger went through it and never came out through the other side. So that's when I got scared, and as I got scared, the eye on the left side literally looked straight at me, and I got scared.
Oh my god!
So I dropped the mask.
Whoa.
I dropped the mask, and then as I dropped it, I was about to fall on the ground. It doesn't fall on the ground. It falls about I'll say 6 inches from the ground, but it doesn't hit the ground, and it floats back up and looks at me eye level. And I got scared, and I tried to run. So I turned and I tried to run upstairs. My room is downstairs. So I tried to run upstairs with my parents, and then my body froze, and I went into like a soldier position where my arms is on both sides of my hips, basically my waist, I should say. And I just froze, and I couldn't move. And then it was basically like laughing at me. The best way to it, like it was just looking at me, like basically looking back at it now. It's like basically pretty much saying, "I got you," basically. Isn't it?
Yeah.
And wow. All of a sudden, it just smiled and looking at me and just giggling like a little evil grin, like a literal air to air grin. Best way to explain it, and just staring at me. And then I started to levitate, and as I'm levitating, I'm crying, like tears are pouring down my face. I'm scared. And oh, by the way, I can't move my mouth. My mouth is just. But the only thing I can literally move is my eyes. I don't think I can even close my eyes. I just could look around. And I'm levitating in the air, and it's being the mask is going up in the air, and then it pushes me to my bed, and then it flips me over. So now I'm 360 back. So now I'm upside down. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh yeah. So now upside down, looking at my bed, and then on my bed I saw like this, like a teardrop hits my bed. It doesn't actually hit my bed, but it's like a teardrop I saw, and then it's like a black pool. But this it's like a pin dot at first, yeah. But the way this black was so dark, it looked like light in my room. Like I'm gonna repeat. This dark was so dark, it lit up the room. The darkness was darker than dark itself. Wow. So the dark was potent to the point where, if let's say you was in a dark room and I showed you the darkness, it would look like the room was bright. How dark it was.
Wow.
And then the darkness, like I said, it was like a pin dot at first, and it turned into like a teardrop, and it just repelled and repelled and repelled. And it pretty much looked like, looking back at everything, I understood what everything was. It got big enough for me to fit through, basically.
Oh dear.
You know.
Wow.
And then as I'm going down in it, like slowly, you know, and it's just staring at me, like upside down. I heard this voice in my head, and it was like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Like it just said, say Jesus, yeah. And I was saying Jesus, and like nothing was happening, but I was saying it in my head. And then as I said Jesus, like, my fingers started to like move a bit, and my fingers was moving. And then as I said Jesus, and then I said that, then all of a sudden I said like Jesus, and I said it, I like screamed, I said Jesus, and I fell on the bed. And as I fell on the bed, the mask, it fell on the ground, and it went through the ground, like literally went through the ground, like literally through the ground, and I could see it through my window, just floating away in the air.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what the heck just happened?
Oh.
Now, come to find out, years later, it was an old hag.
Yeah. The old crone, the old hag, yeah. Oh, that is amazing.
That is like intensely scary. Oh my God.
I don't blame
like the whole experience. Wow.
Yeah, I don't blame you for not celebrating Halloween anymore.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Wow. And you had one more story?
I've got enough to go on for a week, if I'm being honest with you. But
well,
I have got another. I have many.
Okay.
Let me think of. Okay, I'll tell you the first experience I had.
Okay.
Okay. Well, in order to understand this, I have to go a little bit dark and then get to the story. Is that fine?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was about, my guess, when this originally happened, I would say I was between 4 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just give you I'll round it up and say 5. Okay.
Okay.
And I used to play. Okay. I lived at my grandma's house, and basically I used to play with toy guns. And my grandmother, she's very religious. When I say religious, I mean she plays 5 a.m. Every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like since I've been born, she wakes up at 5 a.m. and prays nonstop. Like she still does it today. Mm-hmm. That's all I've known she does. Okay. So I had a toy gun, and basically I was in Jamaica. I'm Jamaican.
Okay.
So she got angry. She caught me with a toy gun, and long story short, she smacked me, and then she burnt the gun. She made a fire and she burnt the gun, and she said, stay there and watch it melt, pretty much. And as I'm watching it melt, I could hear a voice in my head, like next to me. Like I could hear like a spirit. It was a spirit like surrounding me, going around. It was literally going around me and around my ear, and it was like, it was basically telling me curse words. I don't want to say the words what it said, sure, on the air. Yeah. But it was telling me to say curse words, and it was like curse everyone, and like, and I was cursing, and I was repeating what it said, and me and this invisible spirit having a little laugh, very much.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
So that happens now, and then all of a sudden I start. Like I said, I'm going to keep it clean.
Sure.
I start killing animals. Long story short, for a little short part in my life.
Ooh.
And I started electrocuting lizards and whatever I caught. I would drown lizards, electrocute them, kill them, skin them alive. All these things I would do pretty much. I would say I killed.
Wow.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's absolutely spooky.
Wow.
I would say altogether, I've probably, at that short time, like when I was young, I've killed, because there's a lot of snakes in Jamaica, so I've said I've probably killed near enough a couple thousand snakes, if I'm being honest with
Oh my
you,
God.
Wow.
That's
So, all right then, so that happened. I'll skip 2 years, skip 2 to 3 years. I was 8 years old, yeah.
Mhm.
This is where the story gets weird, and all through that time, I'm still killing stuff. That's why I said, that's why I killed so many things, And they say if you kill things, you become a serial killer. Innit? So, by the way, I don't do that anymore. I haven't killed nothing since I was 8 years old. Okay,
okay, good.
and it's accidentally. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I might step on ants every now and then, but I don't know I did it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So okay, this is where the story gets weird now. Okay, so I'm 8 years old, and I said, like, there was, in Jamaica at that time, they had lots of live wires. Live wires meaning they've got lights, but the lights, like the bulbs, some kind of bulbs are smashed, so you can use it for electricity. So we steal electricity in Jamaica. Everyone steals power.
Oh.
Like, the only thing you might pay for is food, basically, innit? Everyone steals electric cable. It's poor countries, third world countries. So we try not to really pay for things if we don't have to.
Right.
So there was a lot of light. So I had this green lizard, and I tied it to a long pole stick and a branch, pretty much, for you to understand. And I was electrocuting it. And I had this girl, and she was about 12 years old, and she always used to follow me around, and she never helped me kill anything or anything. She just watch me torture animals. We're both just creepy kids, basically. So she'll follow me around and just watch me, but she never participated. I just want to get that out of the way. She's not, associated with my crimes, long story short. But she might be guilty by association.
I see. Fair enough.
Yeah. So, okay, where I was in Jamaica, it's cool. It's a chalk town, and this is where you get your chalk. Your chalkboards where you do your marbles and chalk. This is where it comes from, basically. It's called white houses, and the whole mountain or hill is made out of chalk, pretty much.
Sure.
That's why it's called white houses. Okay, so so I was there, and there's a river in it. So there's lots of rivers in Jamaica or anything. Jamaica's a beautiful place.
Let me just interrupt you just for a second, because I want you to know we're about 3 minutes from taking a scheduled network break, and I want you to finish up the story if you can beforehand, but I want you to email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, because I want to talk to you for the podcast, and we can go through your experiences as much as you want to share, because these are fascinating, incredible experiences. So I didn't mean to interrupt your story. I just want to let you know we got about 3 minutes. So is your story, can you fit it in before the break?
I can finish it within 2 minutes.
Okay, perfect. By all means.
Okay. So as I said, I was electrocuting this lizard, and there's a big marble stone. It's about 2 to 3 meters wide and about 4 to 5 meters. But I'll say about 4 meters high. And I saw this big, massive lizard hiding behind it. Like, when I say big, this lizard was about 14 foot from head to toe. Wow. 14 feet.
Oh my God.
And from head to tail, 14 feet, and from head to legs, I'll say about 12 feet, pretty much.
Oof.
And it was pure white. It was the most beautiful lizard or beautiful animal until this day I've ever seen. And it was white. It was pure white, and had polka dots colors of it all around it, like rainbow. Mm-hmm. And it spoke to me. But because I was so young, I didn't know lizards wasn't supposed to speak. So I spoke back to it. And at first, and it spoke so politely, like it had the most polite voice. Even to this day, it's the most respectful thing I've ever met. Wow. It said to me, "What am I doing in it?" Yeah. And it was basically saying to me, why am I doing what I'm doing, and why I shouldn't kill animals? And it was basically giving me a breakdown what I was doing was wrong, and why should I kill animals? Wow. And because this girl was older than me, like I said, she was 12 years old, because she had a lot more wisdom than me. She was a bit fearful, and I noticed that she was a bit scared. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I ain't gonna lie, she left me there. She literally ran off and left me there. But but I was so young, I didn't know that animals wasn't supposed to speak. Especially this big lizard. Yeah. So as it was speaking, it was basically telling me why I shouldn't kill animals and stuff. And I'll be honest, the reason why I don't kill animals till this day is because of that lizard. Come to find out, it was probably a reptile, a reptilian, or whatever it was. I don't know why it didn't eat me or anything like that, or it didn't capture me and take me away. But it didn't showed me no sign of danger or anything, and it was actually quite respectful, and I went on my way.
That is amazing.
It's only when I got into my teenage years, I look back at it, I thought that wasn't supposed to happen.
But I want you to email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. I'm very serious, because I think it'd be great to have you on our podcast, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, that would be great, 100%. I will.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for calling in, and your stories are absolutely amazing. We're going to be going to the break, ladies and gentlemen, so don't go away. There's more of the Portal coming up in just a couple minutes.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, ripping scars across my heart. Raging anger boils inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed.
Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeist are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hour number 2 is started now here on the Paranormal Portal. And as always, I love the call-ins. The call-ins to me are the greatest part of the shows. I like sharing stories with you guys. I like reading things to you that I find interesting and all of that. But when you guys join the discussion by calling in and such, it really makes it a whole different level show. And that was, it's just one of those heartbreaker moments where the break was coming. It's like, no, we knew we had to interrupt it. He was calling from the UK. So I was like, oh. So I'm just glad. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate that. We have another call too in the queue here. So let's get to that and find out what's going on here. This is area code 806. You're on the air.
Well, it's me.
It's you, Brooks. How you doing? Thanks for calling in.
Okay, my son and I had a strange experience today.
Oh.
Our college here has a museum, and it's called the Llano Estacado Museum, and then the other half, are y'all ready for this? The other half is the Jimmy Dean Museum. He's from my hometown.
I love his sausage. He's a sausage
the
genius.
Sausage king.
Absolutely.
So we went in, and my son, which he's 36 years old, he said, "Well, I want to go through the Jimmy Dean Museum." And I said, "Okay." And we were going through there, and he said, I had never been through here. And I said, well, I hadn't either. And the other museum, the Llano, which was across the hall, we were talking, and I said, well, I hadn't been here in years. And he said, well, I hadn't either since grade school. But anyway, we go through the Jimmy Dean, and he said, well, do you want to go through the Llano? And I said, sure, while we're here. Mm-hmm. So we walk in about 10 feet, and in that museum they have like a mammoth skull that they'd found in this area, a lot of Indian artifacts, that type of stuff. Uh-huh. And because this was it was an Indian trail that the Indians took through here.
Okay.
And we walked in there, and we both stopped. And he kind of looked around, and I kind of looked around. And I said, nope, I'm not doing this. And he said, nope, I'm not either. We both had just goosebumps all over us. And he said, Mom, do you feel that? And I said, yeah, I feel that. I said, there's something really negative in here.
Ooh.
So we didn't go in. Yeah.
Wow.
And hey, I'll give you credit, though. Yeah. You followed like that intuition.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was hard not to, because even now I'm getting chills thinking about it.
So you think
there was something definitely
attached to an artifact, you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would stand to reason. That's always the side of it that I think most of us don't consider is when you're looking at these museums, of artifacts and things, that they could very well have attachments and horrible attachments at that. So I think that
Absolutely.
you got to trust your intuition on those things. It's like, man, nope, this is not a place for me, because you don't want that attachment to become yours. And that's kind of like the alarm bells going off, like, nope. Right?
I know. And Christopher said, that's weird that we both got it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, well, we're related. So, yeah.
Well, there is that. And it's like maybe your guardian angels kicked in and said, no. You need to stay away from here.
Yeah.
Because I think you're probably both a little sensitive, and sensitive people are just beacons for those kind of things. Just, like blazing lights. So I think you made the absolute right choice. Yeah. Walk away.
Yeah.
Look at the brochure
So,
or
yeah,
something
we
instead.
thought that was pretty weird walking into that side. I mean, because he said, well, were you fine over in the Jimmy Dean part? And I said, yeah. I said, that didn't bother me at all. He said, yeah. He said, the minute we walked in here, he said, I said, yep,
That's incredible. Yeah,
Wow.
trust your gut. That's a great takeaway from a story like that. Yep.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's what happened to us today.
Thank you so much for calling in and sharing that. That's pretty cool. And I think it's definitely I never think about that when you think of exhibits and stuff, but you're right. If you get those warning signs, just walk away. Go,
right. Especially if they're that strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely very strong. And I told him, I said, well, all we could see when we walked in was the mammoth head, and I think they had some kind of, it wasn't an antelope, it was something else. I don't know. Looked like an antelope, but it wasn't an antelope. And that's all we could see. The rest you had to go through it,
Sure.
There was doorways to go through and look.
Yeah, and chances are those artifacts were found at a sacred site, so if digging them up and throwing them on a shelf, in a display case is probably not real respectful of the spirits of the those people. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling in. That's awesome. I appreciate it. And it's great to hear from you.
You're welcome. Well, thank you. Thank you.
All right, Brooks.
I missed y'all.
We miss you too. That's why I'm really thrilled to hear from you. So thank you for calling in, and let me know if anything else weird happens.
I will.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Take care, Brooks.
You too. Bye-bye.
Very cool. And we got another call.
Hey, hey, Sheldon.
Hey.
Hi.
So, kind of on the heels of that last one, I was thinking, that reminds me of something. I remember when I was house hunting, me and my spouse-to-be were house hunting, and we were going around all these areas. Oh, what? Is something going on?
With me?
I know there's a delay.
Oh, no, I just got an itchy eye if you're talking about me. My eye's just itchy. I've been sick, so I'm just doing my best to push forward here. No, it's okay.
I've been sick too. I had a problem with my arm. I got a torn rotator cuff.
Oh, ouch.
Very painful. Ouch.
Yeah, those are horrible.
So anyway, yeah, it's getting better though. So
good. Okay.
But yeah, I was house hunting and me and my guy and. Of course, we're in Ohio. I should preface that for anybody who doesn't know already. Yeah. We're in Ohio, Indian territory, and actually I find more and more that they have built places on top of Indian land that they shouldn't have. I mean,
oh, sure.
There are a lot of places where they shouldn't be building stuff. But so we were checking out this one house that we liked really well. It was spacious enough. There was the basement was kind of half underground, and then but the ground sloped so you could like get out a door, onto level ground, and it was like, oh, this is cool, for I mean, winter, we wouldn't have to be going down a hill to get into the car. And, oh boy, this is great. But when we got to the basement, I started feeling really uneasy. Mm. And I'm looking around, and it seemed to me like the place got, like the basement wasn't, at first, wasn't that dark, but it got darker. Oh, yeah. And I'm looking, it's like, is this the sun? You know, and I said to Bob, I said, do you see this? Is this just get darker in here? And he's like, well, no, not that I noticed. You know, he's talking to the realtor. Mm-hmm. I said, well, that's interesting. And then I'm just, the hairs on the back of my neck are going up, and I'm like, I don't like this place. I just don't like it. And so, you know, I'm there like, okay, you know, to my guides, you know, to my, why don't I like this place? Why don't I like it? And I just heard one word. I heard Amityville. Oh. Well, to explain it. Yeah. And I'm like, Amityville, and I had to think a moment, and oh my God, I saw that movie. No. Is that why the house is such a good price? Yeah. And I turned to my guy and said, Bob, I just don't think that this is really the house for us. We get out, go right out that door right there. I never proved anything. I mean, I could never find anything on the place. I wasn't that kind of person then that would really care to look. Right. But, you know, I was just going strictly by that. I'm there like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, good for you. Walk away. Quickly, walk away.
Just walk away.
That's, you know, that's interesting, though, because, you know, and what I've noticed, oftentimes there's a theme, and it's interesting because you're sensitive and psychic, and I know that, and so you kind of have a benefit of that. But a lot of times people move into places and they start out just fine. They start out, oh, this is great, this is wonderful, and then slowly things start to escalate over time, and you realize, wait, something's kind of sideways here, and things go bad. But you know, and then the next thing you know, you're in the Amityville house. You know, so many stories like that. But I guess it's a good thing that you had that little extra hint, so you didn't have to like rent, you know, to own it, to realize that it was a dark, horrible place. Ugh.
Yeah, there was something. Well, yeah, there was something. I mean, when I saw it get dark, I'm like, okay, this is not a good sign. Because and really, I ask people, please do, if you get feelings like that, because I'm one of the people that helps you get out of these situations. Mm-hmm. So keep me out of business, will you? Because I hate seeing people in that situation. I really hate it. Mm-hmm. But please, if you're getting some kind of a hint like that, please take it. Yeah. If you're getting a gut feeling or an intuition, please take it. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Brent. I mean, so many stories are just like that, man. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, well, it wasn't bad at first. Well, they're luring you in. Yes. Want you to get comfy.
Get good and comfy.
Yeah, get all your stuff here so you're heavily invested and took all this work and get nice and comfortable.
Yeah. Then the closet starts yelling at you. It's like, nope. This is not home.
No. Yeah. Don't let it get that far. So anyway, my arm, God, and that was weird too. That was a little weird, but I'll tell you very quickly that one. Okay. I had been off of sugar and wheat weeks.
Oh, good. Okay.
And good.
Somebody had.
That's good, yeah.
Somebody had a birthday, and I had a piece of cake. Mm. And I had, before, my arm had been just kind of sore, and I thought I had some problems with it. I was having trouble moving it, but it was getting better, and it was going away, and it was feeling better, and the pain was leaving, and I ate the piece of cake, and I swear it wasn't an hour that thing blew up, and my arm went just nuts. Ooh. And it just hurt. It actually started burning, getting burning hot, and just was so painful that I couldn't breathe without it hurting. Oh, no. And So fortunately, I was, and I had to be there all night with no way to do anything about it, except I had some arnica oil, and so I was up all night with it, just doing all kinds of weird things. Have you heard about the 55515 thing?
No, I don't think so. That doesn't sound familiar.
Okay.
No.
It's supposedly from a declassified CIA document.
Oh.
I'm going to put something off it on my stream. I'm going to put it on my stream, something about it when I learn more about it. But
okay.
It was just one of these shorts flying by that mentioned that this code was for pain. And the CIA says that it was that what you do is you think of the area that's in pain and you say 55515 until it goes away, which sounds like complete cap, right?
Yeah, it sounds.
Except I tried it.
Did it work?
And
wow,
it helped.
Wow.
But only brief.
Well, that's cool.
I said, well, good time to try, right?
Right.
Boy, this delay.
May as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's quicker than grabbing a ibuprofen, so give it a shot.
Right. And it did work, but it only worked for a little bit, like not very long.
Okay.
And then I got the idea, how do I get it to last a little longer? And I just kind of drew it on with my finger, and that worked too, but only for a while.
Oh.
And I finally got a hold of this comfrey cream that I know of that this lady Reiki's the heck out of this comfrey cream. Comfrey's really, really healing and takes pain on contact. This cream takes it on contact. So I managed, it just came in time because I was going nuts, and it came in time, and I started using that, and that helped a bit. And then my friend came up with a homeopathic thing for me, oddly enough, related to stinging nettle. But but anyway, that's a whole other subject for another time. But anyway,
all right,
this 55515 thing, I don't know yet exactly. And then doing a little more research, and I haven't found everything about it yet, but it has something to do with the part of our DNA that controls pain. Is the number for it is 55515.
Oh. Okay.
Interesting.
Wow, weird.
Well, keep us posted. I'll be interested to hear more about it. I think that stuff is great. But thank you for calling, Dee. It's great to hear from you.
Okay, take care.
All right, we'll see you.
Take care.
That's cool. I didn't think that's kind of neat that you could talk to your own genetics, but we got another call. And this is coming from 701. You're on the air.
Ruger?
Hello, long-time listener, first-time caller this evening.
Mr. Naysay, how you doing, brother?
I am, as per usual, as fantastic as the universe allows. Thank you for asking. Hello, Mr. Sheldon.
Good to hear from
And
you. How
Daddy.
are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good. Now, I just want to let you know, Naysay, it's about 7 minutes until the break, just so you know. But, yeah, what's on your mind tonight?
Oh, well, listening to the show, plenty things. But I was thinking, since we're playing a little bit of Follow the Leader, I thought I'd go on with a little bit of what Dee brought up.
Okay.
In my bizarreness or experience, depending on the perspective. So the book, Amityville Horror, I read it in 1981, I believe it was.
Okay.
And I read it because, unfortunately, my stepmonster had it in for me, and any opportunity I could get grounded, she would take advantage of it, because her ideology is if I was grounded, then I could babysit my little brother. So I ended up spending a lot of time babysitting and grounding. But anyway, in this time period of being grounded, I read the Amityville Horror book, which I think I read it maybe in like 2 nights with little to no sleep, because I was so enthralled, and I was one of those kids under the covers with the flashlight reading books.
Gotcha.
So I'm reading the book, and at the time I'm in the smallest room of the house. And because of my new younger brother and my grandmother, she got the bedroom that was bigger right next to my room. And in my closet was the access to the attic, which was never good for a kid to have that room.
Yeah, that's creepy all by itself. Yep.
Yeah. And so many a nights that closet door was closed with things in front of it to make sure that it never opened. Mm-hmm. So I'm reading the Amityville Horror, and I'm reading the part in the book about where, if anybody knows about the Amityville Horror, it's on Amityville Island in New York with the Lutz family, where supposedly a son was waking up every morning at the same time and in a state unbeknownst to his average, he got up and shot his entire family.
Yeah,
and then the house is haunted.
Right.
And then from there, and family moves in, and they have all these experiences occurring. So I'm reading the part about where the father is kind of going a little bit crazy also, and he's witnessing green, dark slime coming out of the walls.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm reading this book. I get freaked out. And in the freaking out, I got up and got out of my room. And I'm like, oh, you're just scared. You're reading this book. Don't be a coward. So I go get a glass of water and all that. Come back into my bedroom. I step into my room. When you open up my door to my room, about maybe 5-6 inches beyond the swinging of the door open, you could reach the footrest of my bed. You know, the legs and the baseboard, I guess you would call it, of the bed.
Yeah.
So I walk into my room, step in, and I step on something wet.
Ooh. Okay.
And I have kind of a dark rusted carpet on it, and then from the leg of my bed closest to the door, furthest from the wall, there is a dark stain coming from under the bedpost.
Oh no!
Down the carpet, all the way to the door, into the hallway with hardwood floors.
Ooh.
And it had this wetness, had a dark green to it.
Oh no!
No,
that's not even right.
So now I'm freaking out about this. Can't get to sleep. I go to sleep, and I eventually fall asleep, and I wake up the next morning, and it's not there.
Oh wow! Eesh. That's
so
creepy.
So at my sophomore year, I moved from my dad's from Indiana up to my mom's in Minnesota. And on my senior year, I go down there to visit friends because I would go back and forth Christmas and whatnot. So I go back, and then I was one time using the bathroom upstairs because I was staying in my brother's old room in the basement. So I'm going upstairs because somebody's in the bathroom in the basement. So I go upstairs, up the steps, and I get to the top hallway where it's hardwood floors, and I flip on the light, and I start walking to the bathroom. And when you take a left, if you keep going straight, is my old bedroom.
Okay.
So I'm walking towards my old bedroom, about to take a right to go down the hallway, and I see down on the floor coming from that bedroom that still had the rust carpet, just beyond the rust carpet on the floor is a little, like something ran from the carpet onto the hardwood floors, and it was dark green.
Ooh.
And it wasn't wet. It wasn't wet, but it was dry.
Oh, man.
And so I could see it just peeking beyond the carpet. And so I go up to it, and by this time the carpet is really old, so I could lift up the carpet, and under the carpet is like a spill mark of something dark and green.
Oh, yuck.
That was just going beyond the carpet enough to notice it when I was going into the hallway and into the bathroom. And right away, it gave me that feeling, 3 years ago from that time of that scared little kid in the bedroom.
Wow.
And the first thing I thought of right away was that closet.
Yes, of course.
And that opening to the attic.
We're about to go to break, brother. I appreciate you calling in, though. It's great to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
That's a
great to hear
great
you guys.
story.
And my love out to the chat room.
All right, brother.
Always love you in the Paranormal Portal. Spread the word.
All right. Amen, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Toodles.
As they say, awesome to hear from him. Awesome to have all these calls tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, there's the bell. We're going to go to the last break. It's been great. Keep the calls coming. I'd rather talk to you guys than read you stuff anyway. So if you got something to share, call in. Now's the time. gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Last segment.
Can't believe it.
Last segment already. It's been a wonderful night of call-ins, and again, I love those the best. When I first thought up the idea of the Paranormal Portal, that's what the show was going to be. I was like, yeah, I'll have a show, and people will call in, and we can talk about this stuff, and and then I realized that it's sometimes hard to get people to call in, but guess what? We've got another call. And we're going to take this one, and let me see. Where's my mouse? There it is. It's, of course, our very own Ruger's on the phone. How you doing, Ruger?
Hey.
Hello?
Ruger?
Am I on?
You're on.
You are on. You're on.
You're on.
The reason I asked you if I'd told this story before is it seems to be coming up more and more.
Okay.
On other channels and chats and stuff. So I'll just tell everybody the story here, and then I'll put in a shameless plug. I think I'm gonna do a video on it.
Okay.
I wrestled with it ever since we got the picture, and I'm just gonna put a warning, that it's not very pleasant to see. So, But the story goes, in 2020, we have Bigfoot activity out here in the country, in this small community out here where I live. It's just a country road with, a dozen houses on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be around my place only, and actually nobody else around here knows that I even go look or anything.
Sure.
But in 2020, we lost 2 outside cats. The farm directly across the road lost 2 dogs, and a family down the road lost a dog within 1 week.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So everybody's like, well, who's shooting our pets and who's doing this? Of course, I had a pretty good feeling what it was.
Right.
And the house across the road lost a dog like right off the bat, and then we lost a couple cats, and then he lost the final dog was also across the road. And after he said, well, we lost another one, and we talked about it and stuff, like 2 more days go by, and his remaining dog is dragging this fawn up through the yard.
Ooh.
And this fawn is still in the spots and in perfect condition, except its head's gone.
Oh.
And it was removed, I wouldn't say by a saw, but it is just a perfect cut.
Oh.
And of course I immediately, what my mind went immediately.
Right.
And he said, "What would do that?" And I said, "I ain't got no idea, man." I said it wouldn't be a trophy for a hunter.
Right.
And nobody would leave a perfectly good deer, even a young one, to go to waste. And I think it was a gift to him for the 2 dogs he lost.
Oh, yeah.
Now that may not make a lot of sense, but I don't know anything else it could have been.
Sure.
But that was in 2020, and I've been sitting on it for 2 years. Be 2 years this spring. So.
And I've heard that behavior.
But anyway, that's a weird story.
It is, and I've heard that behavior seems to come up from time to time, where they kind of reciprocate, and I don't know why they choose to or don't choose to, but there is other people that have found like these perfect pieces of animals on their property, after they've had one around or whatever, and they assumed that it was
right.
The same kind of thing, where it's like, okay, well, here, since I've been helping myself to all the dog food, here's a
right.
here's a deer leg for you or something.
Right.
And it's kind of
right.
It's really cool, because it would seem to be almost like an invitation to, I don't know, increase, or maybe rudimentarily communicate through, offerings or whatever. I don't know.
It's a barter system.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
And it brings me back to
it's weird.
There's legends from First Nations tribes of trading with these, these forest people.
Sure.
You know? So I think that's
absolutely
really, really fascinating. But, I think like your neighbor, he had no idea. The other thing I was thinking of.
No,
go ahead.
He's still clueless.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I was thinking about it quite a bit. You hear people say, well, I've been in the woods all my life and I've never seen nothing.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is that most people don't know what to see. And once you start learning about these things, like I grew up in southeastern Minnesota, but next to a state forest. And that's where I had the growling experience, but I didn't ever see anything either. It just had the growling happen. But years later, when I learned what to look for and went back up into those woods, it was like, you start to see the things that you would have passed by a million times before and never thought anything of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then once you've seen one like I have, it changes everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Do you think it could have been?
But anyway.
No, did you have a question for him, Sheldon?
Yeah. Do you think it could have been Dogman related? As far as like the cut, when you said that it was, I don't know if I'd say surgical, but you said it was like really clean and well cut. And that's something I have heard with Dogman stories too. Like as far as the Linda Godfrey, that interview.
Yeah. That crossed my mind too. And I really don't differentiate between the two.
Mm.
I think they both pretty much do the same thing.
Yeah.
And the only way, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, it was a small deer, but that's a lot of good eating right there just to give up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And the only way that, in my feeble mind, that I could even justify why they would do this, and is there's a lot of meat in a head, and it would be easy traveling.
Right.
That's the only thing I could think of is. Because it just don't make sense to leave that good a meal.
Right.
But
they do seem.
And
it seems like they do.
And it was placed. It wasn't dragged.
Right.
Or skidded across the ground, dragged, whatever. It was placed over his fence in his yard.
Wow.
And the only reason that he recognized it was the last dog that he had at the time had a hold of it and was dragging it toward the porch.
Wow.
And he walked down there to see what it had, and of course here it is.
Yeah. The only other thing I think of is that they do seem to like the soft tissues, like they like the livers, they like apparently the lungs as well. It seems like they go after the soft tissues first, and then maybe they'll gnaw on some limbs and stuff. But I guess because of maybe it's high fatty available protein. That's
that's what we hear.
Yeah. So I mean, it really correlates a lot, and I really appreciate you calling in and sharing that, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes back to what I always say. We know enough about this to be clueless.
Good point. Well said.
All right, guys. I'll let you get back to the show.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling. Take care.
Thank you, Rudy.
Later.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's been a amazing night of call-ins as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
another thing I thought of too was that maybe it was an apology. Because, like you said, like dogs have been dying, disappearing, whatever. What if it was like, "I'm sorry," here, type. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
that's what he was kind of saying is that.
Okay.
Like a peace offering, like, well, hey, sorry, I got Fido, but here, I'm giving up this.
Yeah, that stands to reason. So yeah, that's that's the most logical one, at least I think.
Absolutely, I think it is. We're about 15 minutes left on the show, so I think I'm going to try to.
Wow.
I wanted to read this article from Phantoms and Monsters tonight because it really, the show is going to be. I got several UFO and alien articles pulled up that I was going to go over tonight, and that's fine. I have no problem changing gears on a show at all, but so I don't have to change the thumbnail. I'm going to read this one, so I don't have to update the thumbnail. So this is an article from Phantoms and Monsters. And again, special thanks to Lon Strickler of Phantoms and Monsters. And check out his site because it's a great repository of many first-person experiences and a lot of really interesting research going on over there. And you can check out his podcast on Phantoms and Monsters Radio. But this article is actual accounts of alien intervention and healing of humans. And I thought, well, that's cool. Maybe they're actually doing something to help out a little bit here. Because I figure if they're sucking people up, they might as well, make them better, put them back better than they got them. Maybe it says over the years, there have been many accounts of extraterrestrial alien beings with healing afflicted humans. Many of these accounts are hard to fathom, but there are a few that make one wonder on the authenticity of the claim. I suppose it may be a matter of faith. Religious people would believe that divine spirit interceded and performed a miracle. Folks who reject traditional organized religion, including many who refer to themselves as spiritual, would state that a divine healing is actually extraterrestrial intervention. I realize that the examples posted are just a small sample of the claims available, so you may want to utilize other data available online. Starting in 2008, I was corresponding with a woman named Maria M. Rivera, who lives with her family in Aguada, Puerto Rico. For many years, Maria and her family have been dealing with unknown humanoids in and around their property, which was surrounded by rainforest. She had documented many of their experiences and sightings, including the following claim. It's important to be noted here that I had ovarian cancer and have had several operations to remove parts of my intestine. I also received several operations for breast cancer. I flew occasionally to New York City to see my private doctors, since here on the island, private doctors are reluctant to accept Blue Cross Blue Shield or GHI, which I got from my husband's retirement. I was informed by my doctors in New York that the cancer had returned and that I urgently needed another operation. I used to be in constant stomach pain and noticed blood when I went to the bathroom. It was not the first time the cancer has recurred before, and they operated on me after each recurrences. But after the encounter with those creatures on April 28, 2006, I returned to New York. Several tests were performed, and no cancer was detected. The pain and the bleeding had stopped. I truly feel that those creatures cured me. What is my opinion of the creatures? I sincerely believe that they're benevolent and compassionate creatures, but I'm afraid of them. They do not have my permission to do with my body whatever they please, although I believe they had cured me, but I am not their guinea pig. That's interesting. The next one, alien energy. 13 years ago, on a freezing winter evening in December, a middle-aged man surnamed Cao from Beijing claimed that he had been abducted by aliens and to have cured a Chinese girl using alien energies in Qinhuangdao, Hebei province. His account was met with both skepticism and trust. But Zhang Jinping was one of the only people who devoted time and energy to investigating the matter. Zhang, 43, director of the investigation department of the World Chinese UFO Association and owner of a private advertising company, launched an independent investigation into the case in 2000. Zhang, a firm believer in UFOs, believes Cao's case is most reliable of all the cases he investigated. The prevailing opinion among scientists is that UFOs do not exist because they can't explain these strange phenomena, but as more and more people show interest in studying aliens, I believe our efforts will eventually pay off. As part of the investigation, Zhang hired professionals to hypnotize Cao and give him a lie detector test, a previously unused method of questioning UFO witnesses in China. Cao passed the test. He also brought Cao to the police station and made a computer-generated image of the girl he claimed to have cured. In 2002, he led a group of students to search for the mysterious girl in the country of Qinhuangdao, home to a population of 400,000. Oof. They eventually found the girl, who was then 15 years old, but however, she was not a reliable witness as she was mentally unstable. That could be from being healed by alien energy. I don't know.
Yeah, never know. Yep.
The case was left unsolved. Like many other cases, Zhang has investigated because there was no hard evidence like forensic traces and photos. And here's child cured of cancer. A family from Kirkland, Ohio got a supernatural shock in May 2003 when they were looking over photos of their young daughter and noticed a figure hovering near her. And there's the photos there. They're very small, but maybe I can blow them up here. Maybe. Not really. They're about the same size on that too. But the father of the cured child believed that the ghost was Virgin Mary. Others believed that this may have been an alien being. My reaction immediately is, it's Mary. They hear us. She's here. I didn't necessarily see it as a sign that Erin is fine and is going to walk out of this, but it's a sign that we're watching over her. The report describes how the child was diagnosed with cancer. Erin was diagnosed with leukemia in February 2007 and since gone through numerous bone marrow transplants. When the miraculous photo was taken, she was about to undergo her second transplant. When asked to provide his opinion about those who are skeptical of the incident, Erin's father provided a different opinion and remained firm on his belief. I know she's not alone. I know we are not alone, and people don't want to believe it. That's okay. Whatever happened, something powerful and special was there with us, and I definitely have my moments when I'm falling apart and I'm terrified, and I literally grab my phone and stare at that picture. That's really cool. Space syrup is next. Lavia Ritkis, a healer in Los Angeles, has been given a recipe for what seems to be a miracle cure. The Health says her amazing space syrup was a gift from the aliens to humankind and that anyone can prepare it from common ingredients. The syrup is truly amazing, says Miss Ritkis, who used the medicine to cure her arthritis. It costs just pennies to make, yet after a few weeks of taking it, your whole physical and mental conditions change for the better. It contains many ingredients that humans use to improve health, but the formula the aliens' advanced science has produced combines these ingredients in a new and different way, and it has remarkable impact on the body. The aliens told me that it affects the electrical energy of the body, reversing negative impulses that bring about disease and unhealthy emotions. I take a teaspoon every day, and I know that it has worked wonders for me. Now the aliens want me to spread the word so that the maximum number of humans will learn about it and use it. Miss Ritkis, who runs the healing center that offers natural products and New Age cures, says she encountered the aliens last fall when she was working in her office behind the store. 7 small green creatures appeared out of thin air, she said, and they used their huge glowing eyes to immobilize me. They appeared in the corner of my office, and they seemed very loving and concerned, she recalled, and they told me they had a great affection and respect for humans and wanted to help us with a gift. I couldn't move or speak. I felt like I was dreaming. When I woke up, the spacemen were gone, and the recipe was sitting on the desk in front of me. Miss Ritkis says she mixed up a batch of the syrup the next day, and because it contained nothing she felt would harm her, she took a teaspoon every day for a month to see what would happen. I couldn't believe what it did for me, she says. My arthritis is gone. My skin glows. Even my teeth and hair are different. I feel like a teenager again. Since then, I've shared the recipe with hundreds of people, and it has cured everything: acne, heart disease, depression, and even cancer. The syrup is so wonderful. I know I have to tell everybody about it. It's a miracle gift, a token of love from outer space. Miss Ritkis says that she plans to distribute a pamphlet about the space syrup sometime later this year, and in the meantime, however, she has provided the formula so that people can start enjoying good health right away. So, space syrup consists of 2 teaspoons diced fresh garlic, 3 tablespoons olive oil, 5 tablespoons pure clover honey, 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar, 1/2 teaspoon cayenne, 1/4 teaspoon asafoetida, optional, I don't know what that is, but 1/4 cup strong green tea, freshly made. Saute garlic and onion for 1 minute, and then add other ingredients, simmer and cook over low flame for 5 minutes. Let cool, strain into a glass jar, cover, and refrigerate. Makes enough for a week with 1 teaspoon a day. There you go, folks, right here on the Paranormal Portal. We, however, do not advocate space syrup as a healing tincture.
No.
Officially. I'm just giving you the article as it exists.
Yeah.
Pregnant woman cured of leukemia. And an overjoyed mother-to-be from Berlin, Germany, says aliens took her aboard a spaceship and cured her of leukemia. They saved my life and the life of my child, says Greta Brandt, who was 34 at the time. My own doctor said that we were doomed and there was nothing they could do for us. But those strange men knew exactly what to do. They used all sorts of strange lights and instruments to cure me of the killer leukemia. Dr. Franz Wanderoth, the woman's obstetrician, confirmed that she developed leukemia, but miraculously, she no longer shows any signs of having terminal disease. The doctors refused to discuss her alleged encounter with extraterrestrials, but conceded that something miraculous must have happened to have given her this cure. Miss Brandt herself insists that she was abducted by 4 aliens who subjected her to terrifying but painless medical procedures before releasing her. She was unharmed. I found out that I was pregnant and had leukemia on the same day in December. Wow, what a heartbreaker that'd be, said Mrs. Brandt. In fact, I had just about made up my mind to take my own life when 2 men with long pointed noses and ears approached me as I was getting into my car. When I turned toward them, they looked at me with piercing black eyes and motioned for me to follow. I wanted to resist, but couldn't. They seemed to have strange power over me that I couldn't shake off. She followed the strangers into a vacant lot several miles from her home, and then she was taken aboard a saucer-shaped UFO that was a pulsing bluish color, about the size of a school bus. Once inside, the aliens ushered her into a dark circular room, where she was placed on a padded table and strapped down. That's never a good start.
Yeah.
One of them pulled a large instrument and light down from the ceiling and pointed it in my face. I didn't feel any pain, but the men were so frightening, I must have just passed out. When an astonished Mrs. Brandt woke up, she was sitting in her own backyard. 5 hours had passed, and the only evidence that anything had ever happened to her was a very small needle mark in her right temple, newspapers reported. Whoever or whatever those men were, I have to thank them with all my heart, said Mrs. Brandt. Then we got the gator bite coming up next. On September 3rd, 1965, 2 police officers, Patrol Deputy Robert Good and Chief Deputy Billy McCoy, were driving along Highway 36 south in Damon, Texas. The 2 officers were returning from a high school football game. Deputy Good was suffering from a painful, although minor, injury. He had been bitten on the left index finger by his son's pet baby alligator. The finger was red and swollen. Suddenly, Chief Deputy McCoy saw strange lights rising from the right side of the road. He pulled the patrol car off the road and pointed out the lights to Deputy Good, and when Good looked, he too saw the lights. At this point, the lights moved towards the police officers, and they weren't able to see any detail until the lights were very close. The object approached closer and shone down a beam of light on the officers. As McCoy said, the inside of the car was lit up by a bright light. Good's left arm with his injured finger was hanging outside of the window when the beam struck, and as Good says, I could feel the heat from the light. We got out of there. It was shortly after they left the area that Good noticed that his finger was no longer throbbing with pain. As he says, I suddenly realized it was no longer bothering me, and I pulled off the bandage, and hell, you couldn't tell I'd ever been bit. McCoy verified Good's story, saying the swelling had disappeared, and the finger looked a lot better. Wow.
Indeed.
Nuclear. I think I got time for this one more. On August 7th, this is Heart Repair. On August 7, 1989, real estate broker Katerina Wilson of Portland, Oregon, was injured in a nearby lightning strike when staying in Pensacola, Florida. She knew she had been injured by the strike, but she decided to wait until the morning in the hopes that her condition would improve. That night, Katerina was taken aboard a UFO. She woke up to find herself lying on a table suffering from excruciating chest pains. As Katerina watched from the disassociated state, gray-type aliens cut a square into her chest and attached a black mechanism with several extensions to the hole in her chest. When the pain became particularly intense, the aliens telepathically told her, "We are repairing your heart. You will be okay now." The next morning, Katerina woke up with a sore chest but was otherwise healthy. She said, the first thing I did when I got out of the bed was to look for a scar of a red or a square cut into my chest, but I found nothing. No blood on my sheets, no scar. My chest was sore, though, the next day, but it was not as sore as I would have expected to feel after such a radical operation. I believe this machine they had over my head, heart, it's heard, was realigning the electromagnetic impulses in my heart because they had been altered by the lightning somehow. I believe the aliens were repairing the damage the high voltage of lightning did done to my heart. Katerina reports that she has undergone a large number of operations at the hands of aliens. She says they have performed surgery on me many, many times. It was shocking to remember the different times the aliens had performed surgery on me. What could the aliens be doing to me that would require my having surgery so often? It was not the first time I felt I may be a part of a huger experiment. Well, there you go, folks. That's all we got time for tonight. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow night. Don't forget, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here. So take care. Have a great night. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night.